Okay, guys, I'm back. Dog was acting up, so I had to, tell him to stop. He gets over there. Bear, he's our oldest dog. The leader of the pack, like I said. And he's just mean in his old age. That's the only way to say it. He's just mean. He growls at the other two dogs, and he has a specific chair he sits in. And if they get within not even an inch of his chair, he's laying there growling. So we have to tell him to knock it off. That's not nice. You don't do that. They're not bothering you. Stop it. Knock it off. And of course, he just looks at me like, I do what I want. I am the leader of this pack. And it's like, no, you're not, mister. I am your mom, so to speak. So you listen to me. My fiance, he's more of the fun one, they love to play with him. They play with me too, but I'm more of the, I don't know how to say it, the doggy mom that doesn't let him get away with the stuff that he lets him get away with. So it's kind of, I tell him don't give him any treats, and he gives him treats. I tell him don't give him any scraps, and there goes the scraps. And he doesn't give him much. He gives him a little nibble here, a little nibble there, but still. Shadow, our second oldest dog, he's overweight. The vet has told us a couple times, Chihuahuas are supposed to be kind of lean, and he's kind of chunky. It's like, I know, I'm so sorry. And the vet was giving us tips on to get him quit from begging and all this stuff, and it's like, and of course my fiance is like, well, look at their faces. Their faces are just so cute. And it's like, yeah, do you see them coming over to me, bugging me? No, they don't bug me at all, because they know Mama isn't giving them anything. And Mama will refuse to give them anything because Mama doesn't fall in for the cute little eyeballs. Yogi, our third one, he usually hangs out in my daughter's room. He's my son's dog, technically, but since he's living downstate, we take care of him. He wants him, but I said, he can be better taken care of here, because he's hardly home. And if anything happened to him while he was downstate, it would hurt us all, so he's safer up here. Not saying my son wouldn't take good care of him. My son would take good care of him, but my son's working and everything like that, and he's in school, and he just wouldn't get the attention he needs. I mean, he's not a puppy anymore, but I don't want him staying with my son and then come to find out he's being neglected or things like that. So, which again, like I said, I don't think my son would do that, but I know he's busy and he's got his own life, so maybe when he's older and established and settled down and got his own place, then I'll let him have Yogi. But he knows he's being well taken care of here. He gets a lot of love and attention, so he knows his dog is fine. And we send him pictures. I message him pictures and stuff, so he knows he's fine. Bear, on the other hand, is just mean. I think it's in his breeding, actually, because he's poodle Jack Russell mix. So he's not a big dog. He's small. He's like 10 pounds. And too smart for his own good. And those are the kind of dogs you gotta watch out for. The ones that are too smart for their own good, because they get in trouble. So yeah, so that's the 3 dogs. Shadow, he's mellow. He just hangs out and doesn't do too much. He's a lap dog. He wants to be on everybody's lap. Yogi, he wants to be on everybody's lap. Bear, he has his own chair, so He's happy as long as he's sitting up in his chair. We have a fish. He's an albino albino tiger barb. We have just one. The other ones didn't really make it. So I think soon we're gonna be to making a ride to get some more fish. So he has some company. My daughter, she has a bearded dragon. She has 2 fish that she takes care of. So those are the only animals we have. Like I said, Shadow's a Chihuahua, Yogi is a Chihuahua, and Bear is a Jack Russell Poodle mix, which we weren't really supposed to get him. We were supposed to get a female, and the people we got Bear from are friends, are related to my fiance's friend, his wife, and the dog had a litter of puppies. So they asked us if we would like one. We're like, yeah, sure, let's get a female. Well, the female we were supposed to get died. Something happened. So the people that were supposed to get Bear backed out and didn't want him. So we got Bear. And let me tell you, it's been an adventure. With all 3 of them, actually. Couldn't ask for 3 better dogs. They do protect our house. They love us as much as I yell at them. And I don't yell at them all the time. Don't think I'm just sitting there going, no, don't do this, don't do this. My elbow's been itching for the past few days too. They get a lot of love. But Bear's getting older, so he's crabby. They always tell him, you're a crabby old man. He just looks at us like, well, 11, 12 years old. I can be crabby if I want to. Shadow had a life-threatening problem a couple years ago. It wasn't last year. It was like a couple years ago. I take them religiously to the vet to get their yearly shots, rabies shots, anything, all the shots they need, whatever. So I took them to the local vet here, and she gave them their shots. And usually after they get their shots, they're down for the day. They don't play, they lay around. It's kind of achy. Like when you give a child their immunizations, or when you get a shot, you just kind of, I don't want to move all day. So that's how Bear was at first. And we were used to it because Bear acted like that before. Shadow and Yogi were always fine. Well, Yogi was fine. He was down for a day. Shadow seemed fine. So, after a while, he started acting kind of weird. He wasn't really responding to us. He was laying around. Wouldn't hardly get up to go to the bathroom. So I was like, alright, I'm calling the vet. So they're like, alright, we'll bring him back in. I said, well, he's not moving hardly. He's just laying around, and he's not eating, and he's not drinking. And, I'm really concerned about him. Oh, yeah, bring him in. So I was like, well, could it be from the shots? Well, bring him in, and we'll see what's going on. So we brought him in, and my daughter and I brought him in. He had a fever. So she gave him steroids and some other medicine. Still wasn't acting right. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going back to this vet because I've heard stories about her, and I didn't believe him because she had always taken good care of our dogs. And so alright, I said, well, I'm going to try this other vet because people were like, you need to get a second opinion because he's not acting right. And, that's your dog. You need to, this is great vet like 30 minutes away. Give him a call. So I got the number. And I called him, and he was like, okay, well, bring him in such and such time. I'll take a look at him. I said, okay. So my daughter and I went over to the vet's office, and he said, oh, he looks like he's got a back injury. Maybe he hurt himself. We'll give him this. I'm like, okay. No sooner did he start taking the medicine. I forgot even what kind of medicine it was. He started having seizures. So we're panicking because I come home for lunch to check on him, and he's having a seizure right when I come home. So I call the vet. I'm like, oh my God, he's having seizures. He's like, all right, well, calm down. Don't get upset. Don't panic because you're causing him to go into more seizures. Don't panic. I'm going to prescribe this medicine. Go to your pharmacy, grab it. Bring him in. Because he was having seizure after seizure after seizure. He bit his tongue. His tongue was bleeding. Having seizure after seizure after seizure. So I call. I was home, like I said, I was home for lunch. And my boss was like, well, you need to find somebody to cover for you. And I was like, well, my dog's practically dying. I have to get him to the vet. And she's like, well, see if so-and-so can work for you. So I was at work and I was crying. And luckily a friend of mine was like, I can stay for you. Go ahead and go. I was like, okay. So I had to go find my fiance because he was off work. And he was at his friend's house. So I ran over there. Dana and I ran over there real quick. Dana was still here with Shadow. And I told him, I said, look, we got to rush Shadow to the vet like right now. He's seasoned and I don't know what's going to happen, but the vet said to get him there. So he rushes home, follows me home, gives me the car, because the one car I was driving. He said, well, don't take that car over there, just take this one, because I don't want you guys getting stuck. So we rushed over to the vet. He was seasoned while he was in the vet's office. So the vet gave him some seizure medicine, and he was like, keep an eye on him. If he starts acting worse, call me back, and we'll get him back in here. So he had to knock him out, basically, because he was just season, and he wouldn't quit season. On the table. That's Bear in the background, by the way. So my daughter and I are sitting there and we're upset. And so I was like, oh my God, is he gonna make it? What's gonna happen? So he goes, well, he'll be sleepy. He's gonna sleep. He needs to sleep and all that stuff. Just let him rest. I'm like, okay. So next morning he was still all loopy and everything, not really responsive, just like raging around. So he's like, just keep him comfortable. Don't let him do too much. Don't let him go up and down stairs. You have to take him out to go to the bathroom because he's not gonna be able to walk because this medicine's gonna really put him down. I was like, okay. So you guys, that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. He's fine now. He eventually got better, but dogs and pets, they're like your kids. And when anything ever happens to them, it's like one of your kids, And I was just so heartbroken to see him go through those seizures, and I couldn't really help him. Dana, my daughter, she couldn't really help him. All we had to do was just watch and keep him from hitting his head or anything like that. And it was just really, really sad to see him go through that, and then have to help him go outside, go to the bathroom. He would walk in circles, and I called the vet the one day. He said he would just walk in circles. He just kept walking in circles. I was like, okay, he's walking in circles now. What's going on? And the vet was like, well, he lost a lot of oxygen to his brain because he was having seizure after seizure after seizure. So expect some kind of brain, diminished brain function. And I'm like, oh, great. I love my dogs no matter what. So he's like, well, we have to, call. I'm going to keep in touch with you. And he kept in good touch for a while. And then he just quit calling. And I was like, okay, well, we were supposed to get him in for blood work and everything. And we don't really need to take him back because he's not having any issues. He's good now. He's eating and everything's good. So, yeah, the vet he just quit calling. He was like, I'm calling to check on Shadow. he'd tell me, okay, we'll lower his dose to this much. Call me next week, and I would call him the following week. Okay, lower his dose to this much. Call me next week, and I call him next week. And he'd call and he'd check on him, or he'd make notes. All right, I'm writing notes right now that we knocked his dose down to this much. See how he does this week. Oh no, I left it. And call me back. I'm like, okay. So I was keeping in touch, and eventually I was like, why am I still constantly calling you, and you're not even calling to check on him to make sure that he is okay when you were in the beginning. So my fiance was like, well, maybe he figures he's gonna be fine. So there's no need to check on him anymore because you haven't called him and said, oh, by the way, blah 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 blah. I was like, I shouldn't have to call and tell him blah 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 blah. I'll turn my iPad here. And so he's like, well, if you feel that strongly about it, call him. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna call him. He's supposed to call and tell me and check on him, And he's like, well, apparently he feels he must be okay because he's not calling. I said, well, we're supposed to get blood work done for him to figure out what was wrong. But we figured ourselves that it was a combination of the vaccines and then the pain medicine the vet here gave him, and then the other medicine that the vet over there gave him caused him to go into seizures. So that's the only thing I can think of that really threw him into the seizures. So we're debating on what to do this year as far as I don't want to take him back to this vet because she just doesn't seem like she cares like she used to. She used to care, But this vet here in town, they don't like, okay, if when it's time for your pet's vaccinations, you get the little reminder notes, hey, it's time to bring Fido in for his rabies, or it's time to bring Coco in for her whatever. And they don't do that here for some reason. They don't send out little reminder notes. They don't send out, like I'm saying. When I lived in Georgia and we had dogs, we always got a letter or a little card. Hey, it's time for the rabies vaccine, or hey, it's time for whatever. And here, the vet here doesn't do that. And it's like, well, how am I supposed to figure out when their shots are due? I mean, I know because I read on the calendar, hey, we took the vet to here this day, so we're getting scheduled for this day. And I get reminder cards after the fact. Like I'll make the appointment and the dogs will be seen. And then a week or two later, oh hey, it's time for Bear to come in for his rabies. And it's like, no, it's not. I just brought him in like a week ago. So I usually just throw those out because it's like, you seriously can't send me a reminder card before, and that's why I said I've heard lots of horror stories about this vet. She's never really been too bad with my dogs, except with the shadow incident. I mean, they're all neutered, they're all fixed, and there's never any complications with that. So I mean, I think she's just ready to retire, and she just quit caring because it's like, why wouldn't you want your patients to know when they're due for their pets are due for their shots? That would mean a lot if you got a notice in the mail. Oh, hey, it's time for Fifi's, this treatment, or it's time for, it's that time of year again. Those kind of reminders like you get from the doctors or the dentist's office. It's that time of year again, time for you to come in for your annual, or it's time for you to come in for your cleaning. Please call to make an appointment. But for some reason, this vet here doesn't do it. So that's why I figure she either stopped caring or she just thinks people just automatically assume, oh, I was in here this time this year. I'll come back this year, next year this time. But and it's a small vet's office here. It's just like a trailer with one little small room, and then they get the operating room in the back, and then you get the after your dog or cat comes out of surgery, the little cage is back there, the little kennel's back there. But that's it. It's just like one. It's not a major animal hospital. It's just basically a little trailer. And I think she lives behind the trailer or something, or up the road. Or something. She doesn't live very far from the vet's office. So, but yeah, she's like I said, she used to be really concerned, and now it's just like, yeah, bring him, don't, it's like I can't. I want a vet that cares, but I don't want to have to go like 40, 50 miles because there's a vet that's like an hour away in the Sioux. Like I said, they're really good. So I mean, and then the vet we took Shadow to, he's really good. He's out of a trailer too, but he didn't call to say, hey, how's Shadow? Or, I mean, he did the first night after the seizures and everything. He said, I know you guys are tired. I'm just calling to check, make sure how Shadow's doing. And he called the next morning. How does Shadow do through the night? And it's like, oh, he slept most of the night. And he goes, well, see if you can get him to come to you and try to get him to move around. You don't want him just laying around. And, this was like a couple of days after. And, oh, yeah, we're going to do blood work. And then I didn't hear anything about him. And it's like, I know people are probably like, well, why didn't you just call the vet and say, hey, you're supposed to call me back about the blood work thing? And it's like, I don't think it was anything. Like I said, I feel, and we all, me and my fiance both feel, it was the medicine that put him into seizures. And we still have some medicine left in case something happens. God forbid he goes into seizures again. But it's like 30, 40 minutes to his office. And these dogs are not the best dogs in cars. And especially Bear. Bear, he bops around and I have to physically say, hey, get down. And he's just a little dog. So it's like, how can such a little dog be such a pain in the butt? And that's, part on our end too, lack of training and everything like that. So, I mean, I take responsibility. Yeah, I agree. We didn't train him the way we should have. He only knows like a few basic commands, and of course he doesn't listen when you call him, and I think that's from him he's getting up there in age, so he might be partially losing his hearing. I don't know. And then of course we were talking about when he goes, how sad it's gonna be, because it's not gonna be too long. I mean, my fiance was like, well, he could live 10, 20 years, and he's already 11, 12. So, I mean, they say little dogs live longer than big dogs. So, and he's a runner. If he ever gets loose, oh my God. When we moved over to this house, he got loose. Like this third or fourth day we were here. And my fiance's like, we're not going to chase him. I had to go do this. And I forgot where he had to go. He had to go to work or something. I can't remember. Or he was going to help his cousin do something. I can't remember. And like, I'm not going to chase him. I said, well, I got to go to work. I don't have time to chase him. That's what it was. He was taking me to work. I'm sorry. He was taking me to work because I didn't have my driver's license. And he's like, well, I gotta get you to work. I ain't got time. We ain't got time to go chase him down. So I was like, all right. So he went down. He took me to work. And so he said, well, call the radio station, because he went looking for him afterwards. And he's like, I can't find him anywhere. Call the radio station and tell him, we have a dog ran, blah, 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 blah. So I go to call, and I was upset at work. I was like, this was when I was working at the gas station. I was like, my dog ran away, and we don't know where he's at, and I don't want to get hit by a car. And well, a neighbor of ours, a previous neighbor before, had come to the gas station and said, Bear got hit by a car. And I was like, what? And he goes, he's up by so-and-so, and he got hit by a car. And I said, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, he's hurt. He goes, but he took off. He goes, people were trying to grab him, but he took off. And I was like, oh, great. So I said, well, where was this? And he told me. So I got a hold of my fiance, and my fiance was like, well, what's going on? And I said, well, so-and-so come in. I said, Barry got hit by a car. And he's like, oh my God, is he all right? I said, he said he was fine. He was limping, but he got up and he ran. And people were trying to get him. So I called the radio station back and said, hey, we found our dog. It's fine. Thank you very much for your time, blah, 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 blah. So like, okay, hope everything's okay, and general conversation. So then my fiance eventually found him and rounded him up and got him in the car. So I get home from work, and my fiance said, well, he banged up a little bit, but I don't think he has to go to the vet. I'm like, okay, well, let me look at him. Well, his leg was all skinned up. And he was limping, obviously. So I was trying to bandage his leg. Of course, he didn't like that because, owie, I'm going to growl at you, owie. I was trying to tell my fiance, I said, keep his head away from my face because I don't want him snapping at me. So my daughter ended up holding him for a few, and I wrapped his leg the best I could. And he didn't like me much after that for a few days. So I was like, well, I don't want to tell you, buddy, because he didn't break anything. We checked him over real good. We looked as much as he would let us look at him. And he didn't break anything, and he slept most of the day that day because he had run, and then getting hit by the car. And from what I understand, the guy or person, whoever was driving the car that hit him, was trying to get him to make sure he was okay. And yeah, he's a runner. He doesn't run so much now in his old age, thank goodness. But he would run, and the only way we could get him was we'd have to get in the car, chase him around wherever he was running to till he got tired, and stop the car, and then he would hop in. But until then, if he wasn't tired, you weren't going to get him, because he would just take off all the time. And that was crazy. Crazy. And so we shall see what the future brings, because like I said, I know he's old, and he's practically all gray now. He was black and white. He's still got the white, but he's all gray, and on his face and on his tail, he's just all gray. So you can see, he's getting up there in age, and it's just like, other vets, they check their teeth, and this dog is this old, and blah, blah, blah. This vet here didn't even do that. Of course, when we take Bear to this vet, it takes like 4 people to hold him down. He's a little 10-pound dog, but it takes like 4 people to hold him down. It's like, that's crazy. For 4 people to hold him down. Because they have to muzzle him and everything, because he's scared. And, the vet's just like, oh, it's fine, Bear, it's fine. And he's growling and showing his teeth, and we got him, like, restrained, and then she slips the muzzle on him, and it makes him even more mad and more scared. She goes, that's just fear. And it's like, yeah, but why does it take 5 people to hold him down? You know? And his friend has his sister, has Bear's sister. And he also has Bear's daughter. And for the longest time, my fiance was like, no, Bear didn't produce any puppies. I said, yes, he did. I said, he wasn't fixed for a while. I said, and so this woman lived down the street, which was his friend's sister-in-law. She lived down the street, and she said Bear was down there all the time. Every time he got loose, he was always over here messing with my girl. And she came out one day, and they were in the woes of passion, so to speak. And I said, and then, however long later, she produced puppies. And she said, oh yeah, they're bears. They're all bears, and so they took Bear's daughter, and we seen her the other day when we went camping over there. And my fiance's like, doesn't she just look like Bear? And I'm like, I told you that was Bear's daughter. And he's like, yeah, but I didn't want to believe it. So I said, yeah. I said, he's a daddy. You are the father. But all in all, they're pretty good dogs. They're pretty good. Like I said, Bear, he's just a crabby old man. And he's a barker, let me tell you. That's that Jack Russell, I think. Jack Russells and Poodles are both very smart breeds, so that's why I say he's too smart for his own good. Shadow, when he was born, he was the only one of his litter. There was only that litter produced only one, and that was Shadow. And another one of my fiance's cousins had the dad, and they couldn't take care of the dad anymore, so the dad gave him to another cousin, and the dad mated with his cousin's dogs. So we got Shadow. That was how Shadow was brought into the world. And then Yogi, he was like the fifth. Oh, my thing's messing up because I'm leaning forward. He's the product of the 7th or 8th litter or something like that. Shadow's short hair. Yogi has long hair. Shadow's ears are up. Yogi's ears are down. Yeah. So I always tell my fiance, if Shadow and Bear were male and female, and they produced a puppy, it would be Yogi. Because Yogi's got their colors, And I was like, if Bear was a female or Shadow was a female, and they produced puppies, Yogi would be a product of the puppy. You would swear that was Shadow and Bear were Yogi's mom and dad. So I'm probably going to cut it short here because we have to go to the store. And I think I messed up because when I came back on, I didn't hit the pause button when I had to tell Bear to knock it off when he was being loud and obnoxious over there. So it's probably going to be a 2-part video because I do believe I goofed it. And so I am gonna just go ahead and, well, I got a few more minutes before it's my total time, so. But I know the dogs do need to go out here in a minute, and I gotta get my daughter up because we have to go to the store and get necessities, and I gotta get something to go with supper tonight, and I'm off today, but every time I have a day off, it doesn't feel like a day off, and you know how that goes. And the dogs have been pretty patient because they're usually bugging, sitting and staring like, hey, Mom, I gotta go right now. It's urgent. Could you please open the door? And we let Bear out on a tie out, so the kiboshed his little getting loose for quite a while, actually. Usually once in the summertime he's loose, but he knock on wood, he hasn't gotten loose. We've been able to open the door. Usually if we open the door, he wants to bolt, and he hasn't been bolting lately. He just looks at the door like, I'm gonna get the nerve and run out that door. But it's getting colder and cooler out, so I think he's More apt to staying in a warm house than out running in the cold street. Um, but yeah, his barker. They're all barkers. One barks and then all of them go. If you have multiple dogs, you know, one barks. Ooh, what's going on? Let's join in. It's like, you guys, there's nothing out there. My fiance's like, well, how do you know? I was like, well, you can't. I can't see anything because sometimes I'll go to the window if I think I hear a car door shut or something. Or if they're barking like really, really aggressively, then I'll go check it out. But usually it's us they're barking at because if we make a little bump or something, they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. And it's like, it's us. Calm down. So yeah, that's the life with dogs. I love them all. They get on my nerves sometimes. Yogi, he's just a little cuddler. He'll get up on your lap and he puts his front paws on your chest and he puts his head on your shoulder and cuddles with you for a few minutes. And Shadow, he's learned to do that too, and I think it's so funny because Shadow never used to do that. Shadow just every morning when we get up, my fiance and I get up. Shadow, they get their treats. Of course, they go outside first and they get their treats. And then Bear's in his chair, Shadow's standing under the coffee table, and Yogi's on the love seat. And it's 5-10 minutes after that, here comes Shadow. Waddling over. Mom, I want up on your lap. He gets on my lap for like 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes, and he's hopping back down again. Then Yogi comes over. Mom, I want on your lap. So lately, Yogi's been on my lap more than Shadow. Bear, he sometimes hops up there, too. And he's a little cuddler, too. But, like I said, Bear's the older one. And then it's Shadow, and then Yogi. So, hopefully we have a lot more years with Bear. And have a lot more years with all of them, hopefully. But we did the right responsible thing. We had them all fixed after Bear had his litter. We got him fixed, and then when we got Shadow when he was a puppy, we got him fixed. And then we got Yogi as a puppy. When we got Yogi, we got him fixed. Because I was like, we don't need no puppies. So I don't need nobody knocking on my door saying, your dog got in my yard and knocked my dog up. Blah, 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 blah. So I did the responsible thing and got him neutered. I wish we would have got Bear neutered right when he was a puppy, but he was still kind of a puppy when he got neutered, so he did produce one litter. As far as we know. Who knows, with all his ramblings back in the day. We might have some kids out there. So yeah, I'm hopefully gonna get this done in the next week or so. Because I'm working funky hours. I work 8:30 to 5 tomorrow. And then I have 3 days where I work 7 to 3:30, so I can usually work on it after 3:30. And Bear's whining, so that's a signal. Hey, Mom, quit talking. Get me to the door so I can go do my business. And I gotta get Yogi out of Dana's room. And I gotta get my daughter up and everything. Go start the car. There's a movie I want to watch when we're eating lunch today. So, and I want to work on this some more today. And she's got chores to do. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here this morning since I hadn't posted any videos in a few days and say hi and let you know I'm still here and what's been going on. I got that colonoscopy coming up and dentist and jury duty, and so it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna do a monthly review probably Friday morning before I have to go to work. I can do one real quick. And it's just going to basically be about what my goals are going to be for next month, what's coming up for next month, how this month wrapped up, things like that. Because Friday is the 1st. Well, Friday's the 30th, so um, I'll be able to do a quick one before I have to go to work. And I'm gonna do one with you, with me looking at the camera. So it'd be kind of different. I know the other monthly reviews is just this is what I did. So I will be posting that on Friday, I believe, and hopefully in the next week or two I'll have this done, and then I can start on my next one, which is War Pony. I forgot who that's by, but I will let you know the info on that on my monthly review. And I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. Like I said, this is gonna be 2 parts because I messed up and didn't hit the pause button. I hit the stop button. So you're probably going, "What are you talking about? You paused it and welcome, and I'm back." And this thing is annoying to the max. So excuse me. I'm gonna do that real quick, and I'm gonna get my daughter up, and I'm gonna get the dogs out and go to the store and come back and work some more on this. Watch my movie, which I was watching Tubi this morning. Just real quick before I leave, I was watching Tubi this morning. I was looking for movies because yesterday I was watching Madea movies, and I love Madea. Put this light back on so you can see. And I was watching the Madea movie yesterday. The day before I watched Medea's Big Happy Family, and yesterday I watched Medea's Family Reunion. So I was like, I wonder if they have any more Madea movies. Well, I was watching on Hulu. Hulu didn't have any. They just had Medea's Family Reunion. So I already watched that. So let me go to Tubi because Tubi has movies. Well, I didn't get to watch. I didn't have any Madea movies on Tubi. I was like, great. So I decided, well, not on Hulu. Sorry. So then I checked. Yeah, then I checked Tubi. I was like, well, maybe Tubi has it because Tubi has a whole bunch of movies. No Madea movies whatsoever on Tubi. So I'm scrolling through Tubi, and 50 Shades of Grey is on there. Nonetheless, I have the 3 movies. I have all the soundtracks. I have all the books. I have the books from his point of view, except for one. I'm trying to get a hold of the last book of the series on that one. I'll have to check Barnes and Nobles or something. I got 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Freed. 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, and 50 Shades Freed. And I have all the books. Then I have the 3 books from here. I have the book from his point of view, which is Grey. And I think I have Darker. I think I have Grey and Darker. And then I'm waiting to get Freed. And these are the books from his point of view. It's 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades of Grey Darker, 50 Shades of Grey Freed are from Anna's point of view. Grey, Darker, and Freed are from his point of view, which is kind of interesting to get it from both points of view, but they're all great books. All of them are great books. So I was looking on TV this morning, like I said, and I said, 50 Shades of Grey? No way, they have that on here? So I watched that this morning before I made this video. And then when 50 Shades of Grey went off, the next movie that was coming up was 50 Shades of Grey Darker. So I was like, oh, they got that one. And then I looked next to it, and they got 50 Shades of Grey Freed. So it's like, they got all 3 movies on here? Are you kidding me? I could have watched 50 Shades of Grey Monday. I could have watched 50 Shades of Grey Darker yesterday, and I could have watched 50 Shades of Grey Freed today. So I think at lunch, I'm going to watch 50 Shades of Grey Darker. My daughter's watched all the movies. She's got the books. Just the 3 books, the ones from from her point of view. So, so I'm looking for the last book, Freed. This is the last book of his point of view from E.L. James. So Hopefully I can find it. I looked on Barnes and Nobles and I think they have it. So I might order that for myself. Or I might check Amazon. Amazon might have it too. So I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. Get my daughter up, get the dogs out, and get ready to go do my daily stuff. So it's gonna be a two-parter. Sorry. I forgot to pause it when I was telling Bear to knock it off when he was running around here being rambunctious and loud and crazy. So I will see you guys in the next one, which will probably be Tuesday. Well, no, Friday. Friday, I'm going to do the monthly wrap up. And so we'll see how this goes. My videos are going pretty good. I'm thankful for everybody who's watched. I'm thankful for anybody who's liked. So if you like these videos, like, subscribe, comment below if you want to know anything about me. If you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer any of them. So yeah, it's pretty much how my week went so far. 2 more days left, then the weekend. So, but yeah, tune in Friday for my monthly review. It's gonna be of me. Now I'm not gonna be diamond painting or anything. So, we shall see how these videos go. I'm pretty pleased. I'm thankful for how they're going, and I'm excited. I check them every day, and as the views go up and up and up, it's like, oh, more people are watching. You know, even if it's for 5-10 minutes. I understand the longer videos are kind of hard to sit through sometimes. So you guys have a great day. Give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day, and talk to you then. Bye.